In this video, we present a scenario that illustrates how our system, SenseSync, supports collaborative information seeking tasks when LLMs are involved. David and Sarah, two university students, are working on a report about the ethical implications of AI. They typically use ChatGPT to quickly gather information on their own, but struggle to collaborate and share their findings due to the differing context of generated information. So, they turn to SenseSync, which incorporates a dynamic graph visualization to show individual conversations with LLMs and shared ones in a collaborative view, and a timeline visualization that enables users browse the collaborative conversation graph in different time spans. Let's see how David and Sarah use this tool. Phase 1. David's individual exploration. David begins by using the chat window to start a conversation with ChatGPT, asking what are the different aspects of AI ethics. The system generates a response, which is also represented as a node in the graph. He follows up with two additional prompts, resulting in three nodes C1, C2, C3. David notices that C1 and C2 are connected, indicating a strong relationship between the nodes. However, C3, titled Ethics Examines Moral Principles and Human Behavior, is not connected to the other two nodes and is represented by a small circle, suggesting it is less relevant. As a result, David decides to unshare C3 so it will not appear in the collaborative workspace. Phase 2. Sarah's individual exploration. Later, Sarah begins her exploration by asking what are the unethical aspects of AI, a broad prompt similar to David's but focused on the negative aspects. After following up with an additional prompt, two new nodes C4 and C5 appear in the graph. Phase 3. Sarah's exploration in the collaborative workspace. Once Sarah completes her individual exploration, she decides to review David's findings and compare them with her own. Switching to the collaborative space, she notices that David's nodes C1 and C2 are connected to her nodes C4 and C5. This overlap reveals that C4 is highly similar to both C1 and C2. However, C5, while connected to all other three nodes, is farther from the others, indicating less similarity. Curious about C5, Sarah clicks on it to read the corresponding ChatGPT response and discovers a new aspect of AI ethics, environmental monitoring and protection. Uncertain about the validity of this information, she assigns a task to David, asking him to explore this aspect further. Phase 4. David's exploration in the collaborative workspace. When David logs back into SenseSync, he opens the collaborative space to see the graph, now showing both his and Sarah's findings. Short on time, he uses the auto-summarization feature to get an overview of the shared information. Looking at the list on the right side of the screen, David notices that the hand icon next to a task indicating that Sarah has assigned him a task titled Further Explore. Clicking on the task, he reads that Sarah wants him to investigate the validity of environmental monitoring and protection, which is associated with the node C5. After reviewing C5 and understanding Sarah's uncertainty, David prompts with what is environmental monitoring and protection to investigate further. The system shows a high consistency rate, notifying the responses are likely trustworthy. To be sure, David reviews the context-based responses and concludes the information is reliable. He adds a note titled "This is trustworthy" to inform Sarah about his finding. Phase 5. Sarah's exploration in the collaborative workspace. Later, Sarah logs back in and notices that the graph has changed since her last session. Curious about the updates David made and his activities while she was away, she explores the timeline feature. Through the timeline, Sarah sees that David first generated an auto-summary, initiated a prompt, and later added a note stating this is trustworthy. From this, she realizes that the auto-summarization and the new conversation led David to conclude that the information related to AI for environmental monitoring and protection is reliable. Sarah clicks on the auto summary to read the details. She also skims through the contextual data connected to the node by hovering over it. These back and forth collaborative activities continue through subsequent phases until David and Sarah feel they have fulfilled their information need to use for their report. This scenario illustrated how SenseSync enabled David and Sarah collaboratively use ChatGPT to explore the ethical implications of AI, gain a deeper understanding of each, and choose key and reliable aspects to incorporate into their report. For more details, please check out our paper.